Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So let's do a deep dive into this one. Why is the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi receiving the highest state honor in Trinidad and Tobago? Is this about trade? Is this about diplomacy? Or just political symbolism? Let's break this down. No fluff, just facts and context, as we do here on Trinidad Empowerment Network. So, who is Modi? Who is Mr. Modi, and why is he in Trinidad and Tobago? Now, Modi is a Prime Minister of India. India is commonly known as the world's largest democracy, and he's seen as a controversial figure globally. He's currently on a 5-nation tour of the global south, countries to include Ghana, Brazil, Argentina, Namibia, and yes, of course, Trinidad and Tobago. Now, this is the first official visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Trinidad and Tobago since 1999. Since 1999. He's been invited to speak at Parliament, and he's being awarded the Order of the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, our highest national honor. I don't know, don't ask me, that's what the man's being given. Don't shoot the messenger. So the schools are being closed early, roads are being cleared in Trinidad, as you know, and the red carpet is being laid out for Mr. Modi. But, of course, here at Trinidad Empowerment Network, we have questions. And the simple question is, why? Why? So we know there's a historical link between Trinidad and India. Over 40% of Trinidadians have Indian ancestries. Modi is here to mark over 180 years since the first Indian indentured laborer arrived in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's something to celebrate, of course. But beyond that, is there any real economic value to this visit, to this state visit? Is there any real economic value to the state visit? The short answer is, yeah, there is some, but not that much, really. So in 2023, Trinidad exported over $240 million in oil and gas products to India and imported $109 million worth of goods, mainly vehicle parts, steel, and pharmaceuticals. Now, that's a trade imbalance in our favor. That is rare these days, very rare. But compared to, say, the United States or China, our dealing with India is minor. No major Indian investment projects are active in Trinidad. There is no high-level joint ventures. Just some old memoranda of understanding on energy, IT, and agriculture that haven't gone really far or haven't gone anywhere, really. So while there is potential right now, especially in the current economy, the impact of his visit is merely symbolic. There's nothing economically substantial about this visit. It's purely symbolic. And I want to be fair. This visit could benefit us. India is a rising tech and healthcare power. They have helped other Caribbean nations as well with low-cost medication, with hospital grants, and even renewable energy partnerships. So, if this visit leads to serious investment, let's say in healthcare, let's say in agriculture, let's say in technology, let's say in even educational exchanges or digital infrastructure, then that's great for Trinidad and Tobago. That's great for the Caribbean. We need alternative partnerships other than America. And that's something we can stand behind. But don't confuse symbolism with substance. Do not confuse symbolism with substance. Trinidad has a long history of honoring foreign leaders without always demanding something in return. I think people are just happy to be seen with them, to have a photo op, look at me, I think there's a lot of that still going on. So let's talk about the elephant in the room as well. Modi isn't just here for celebration, by the way. He brings with him global controversy. Now, the ASJA, Trinidad's largest Muslim organization, has written to the Prime Minister and the Indian High Commission strongly opposing Modi's visit. They say he represents a nationalism, a political ideology in India that has emboldened religious intolerance, especially against Muslim. They have pointed to the Citizenship Amendment Act, which discriminates based on religion. They've pointed to the revocation of Kashmir's autonomy, followed by its military crackdown. And most infamously, the 2002 Gujarat riots, where over 1,000 Muslims were killed under Modi's watch as chief minister. Yes, India's Supreme Court cleared him of wrongdoing, but international human rights groups and British MPs will call this a stain on the record. Not that that probably really matters, but here's a question anyway. Should Trinidad and Tobago give our highest honor to a man with that legacy? Does this represent all of Trinidad, or just the political alignment of those currently in power? Now, Modi is often seen as a strongman, aligned with other right-wing global figures such as Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and his ideology is deeply nationalistic. So let's ask this honestly. What real values does a nationalist leader who promotes religious division at home in his country bring to a multi-faith country like Trinidad and Tobago? Besides the shared ethnicity of our Prime Minister and a large portion of our population, where is the strategic value in this visit? I don't see any. I do not see any. So this isn't about anti-India. Of course it isn't. And no doubt you're going to get the morons coming on here saying it is. It isn't. This is about being pro-Trinidad and Tobago. We must demand transparency, accountability, and actual results from state visits. Not just optics, not just symbolism, not just a photo op. If Modi's visit leads to real benefits, fantastic. But if it's just political theater at the expense of our values, then we must speak on that too. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this visit about diplomacy, the diaspora identity, or is it just a distraction? Don't forget to like and share and subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network. This is probably the only channel where you're going to hear the truth. Biased I may be. But that's a breakdown of the visit. There's nothing more to add to this, really. Anything else would be speculation. Anything else would be speculation. I see this as purely symbolic. There is no economic values to it, but there can potentially be. And I talk about diversifying the economy, working with other countries. If there's potential there to work with India, that's going to benefit Trinidad and Tobago economically, then, that helps us breaking away from this over-reliance on America, then potentially there is something there. But I suggest it's not going to be anything more than symbolism, a photo op, and, linking back to historic ties to the 40% that lives in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's it. That's all this visit is about. Nothing more, nothing less. And with that said, I'll see you on my next video. For now, much love. God bless. Take care.